Hello, good evening, and welcome back. Hania Vidhi, you are doing exceedingly good and are answering questions very intelligently. That means you are having a very good liking of science. Your mind is very good and scientific. And we are working on revision lectures, revision topics, trying to revise the course with a lot of question answers. Last lecture, we have told you that there were two very important laws of chemical combinations, after which came the Dalton's atomic theory. Can you tell me what two laws were important in before 18th century, after which the Dalton postulated his theory? What are the two laws? What are the two laws after which Dalton postulated, gave his postulates? And those were very important at that period of time. Tell me, what are the two laws of chemical combination which on the basis of which Dalton gave his Dalton's atomic theory? Who is answering? Tell me, what are the laws? Anya, what is your answer? What is the answer? So, what are the two important laws I said on the basis of which Dalton was able to postulate his theory? So, there are two important laws which we discussed last time, on the basis of which we were able to, yeah, yeah. Okay, Anya and Vidhi, I hope you are able to know what I am talking about. The two important laws after which Dalton gave his atomic theory, we have answered that last time. These two important laws were one.
The law,
Uh-huh. Tell me,
so
law
the
of,
law of conservation of mass and the law of constant composition.
excellent answer. That is the correct answer. Law of conservation of mass. And second was law of constant proportions. Law of constant proportions. These two laws are very, very important. And then Dalton has given postulate in which he said every matter, the matter, he has now given what the matter is made up of. What is the matter is, because after this Dalton gives his theory, Dalton's atomic theory. This is a great theory because at that period of time, this led to the discovery of what we are saying, tiniest particle, he says, are atoms. And many important points were there in the Dalton's atomic theory, that atoms can neither be created nor be destroyed. And in a chemical reaction, the atoms are taking part, they are just rearranging. And also he could give the explain the law of the conservation of mass and the law of the constant proportion, that these atoms combine to form indefinite proportion by mass, definite proportion by mass to form the compounds. So this was something very, very important result which Dalton, after studying the laws of chemical combination, gave his Dalton's atomic theory. So now we say that, now you are saying to me, sir, that every matter is made up of tiny particles, which are atoms. Everything is made up of atoms, yes or no? Tell me. So,
Yes, sir.
okay, keep on interacting with me, keep on talking with me. You are being listened by all over the world. People are listening to you. So, what is happening? That everything is made up of atoms and particles. These are very, very small, but the question is how, what is the size of an atom? What is the size of an atom? What is the size of an atom? We are saying this is very, very small, very, very small. How small? How small is the atom? How small is the atom? Can I see atom with my eyes, students? The answer, tell me. Can you
No,
see
sir.
atoms?
No, sir.
No, sir. We cannot see it. That means it is very small, but you can see an ant. You can see an ant, but you cannot see atom. That means it is very, very small. And what we are talking is that the hydrogen is the smallest atom. Which is the smallest? Hydrogen. As you will see in the periodic table, you are saying hydrogen. Hydrogen H1 we write here. Hydrogen is the smallest atom, and we are saying the radii of this is given as we have given this figure 10 minus 10 meter. 10 minus 10 meter. I am saying, student. You have seen 1 meter. You have seen 1 meter. How you are buying your clothes, your shirts. You are buying in how much meter? 2 meter. 2 meter. You have seen meter. How he measures meter. Now I am saying 10 power minus 10 meter. What it means? 1 by 10 power 10 of a meter. That means the size is so small. This is the radii. Radii. You are saying radii of hydrogen atom. It is so small. So small. Therefore, we will not be able to see this with our eyes. If I say molecule of water, water, you know, we will tell you it is a compound. Water is a compound. Actually, the formula of the water, by now students know about it, it is H2O. So it has 2 atoms of hydrogen, 1 atom of oxygen. That is a molecule of water. You are drinking water in a glass, but have you ever thought what is the size of the water molecule? In a glass, if you have supposing if we will take about 20 grams of water or 20 milliliter of water, you know how many molecules it has? Millions. Millions of molecules are there. Millions of water molecules are there. We know, you know about Avogadro's number. We told you last time that one mole is equal to 1 mole is equal to how many particles? What 1 mole was equal to how many particles? When we taught you what we said, 1 mole is equal to how many? How much? 6.022 into 10 power 23. So 1 mole, if you take 1 mole of a element or 1 mole of a substance, 1 mole of anything, then you are saying there will be so many particles. So if you are taking water, supposing you have 18 gram of water, 18 gram of water, I'm saying there will be so many molecules of water, so many. And what is the size of one water molecule? 10 minus 9 meter. 10 minus 9 meter. The radii of this H2O we are saying is H2O we are saying is 10 power minus 9 meter, students. Can we see it with our eye? Tell me. Can you see this molecule with your eyes? Tell me yes or no. Tell me, can you see molecule of water with your eyes? Yes
No,
or
sir.
no?
No, sir.
But you are seeing the water. But water you
Yes, sir.
see. Water I am drinking. This is I. You see in my cup. I supposing in this cup I have water. I am drinking water. But one molecule I cannot see. That means in my cup, there are millions of molecules of water. What I have in the cup, students, in this cup, I have water. I am drinking water. That means in this cup, I have millions of water molecules. How 18 grams will contain 6.02 10 power 23 molecules of water. And that is why one molecule I can't see. And if I say this is one molecule of water, take a bath. Nothing. You can't take a bath with one water molecule. When you are filling a bucket full of water for taking a bath, you know how much water you have, how many molecules you have. You have millions and millions of water molecules. It's a collection of large number of water molecules. You understood what I said? One molecule is very small. You are making a house. You are using bricks. Now we are saying that everything is made up of atoms and particles. And you know, one brick, there it will be made up of very, very tiny particles, which you are saying are atoms. How many millions of atoms will be there? And you can see the size of the atom. Size of the hydrogen atom. This is the radii of the molecule of water. Molecule of hemoglobin. What is hemoglobin, students? What is hemoglobin? Tell me. Where it is present inside your body? Hemoglobin. Tell me, what is hemoglobin? It is present where inside your body? Little bit you know about hemoglobin. HB. Where do you get HB? Tell me. Anya, where is HB in your body? Where is this hemoglobin? Hemoglobin is present where? Your blood has hemoglobin. Blood. HB. You are.
Sir, it is present in blood.
Then when you go for testing of the blood, what they do? They will tell you HB. Grain of sand is 10 minus 4, ant is 10 minus 2, and watermelon is 10 minus 1. That means the size of watermelon. Watermelon you are eating. Okay, thank you, Vidhi. Watermelon is 1/10 of a meter. So you can see the size of the atom is very, very small. Therefore, students, it is not possible to see the atoms with our eyes. We cannot see the atom. But the discovery of atom, we can say credit goes to Dalton. Dalton's atomic theory. Why he gave this after studying the laws of the chemical combination. We have given you only 2 laws. In higher classes, you will study more laws, more laws. But these laws were very important at that time. So you are saying that there are atoms. We now understand that everything is what you are saying now. Both of you said to me, you answered that matter is made up of atoms. Okay? And these are very, very tiny. And we cannot see with our eyes. And you have seen the size of a hydrogen, radius of a hydrogen atom, you are seeing 10 minus 10 meter. Now, that means, and you said, what Dalton said, that different elements, different atoms, there are different type of atoms, there are different atoms. Everything is not one atom, there are different atoms. And different atoms have different mass and different properties. And then he said they can combine to form compounds in definite proportion, the law of constant proportion. So then we should know what are the symbols, student, what are the symbols of atoms of different elements. You are saying that what we have is elements, and elements are having atoms. And different elements will have different atoms. If I say there are different elements, means you have different atoms. That is why you are saying different atoms means they have different properties. They have different atomic masses also, you said. They have different masses. And they have different properties. They have different properties. So the question will be, then what are the symbols? In our science, we will use some symbols, student, for every element. You know, today in the periodic table, they have given 118 elements. That means there are 118 type of atoms. They are different. They are different. Their masses are different. Their properties are different. What else is different? We will see that they have a nucleus, electron, protons. They are different. So we must be aware of the symbols of the atoms. We should know we have to learn the symbols of atoms. Now it is important that the same symbols be used everywhere. Same symbols be used everywhere. I cannot use different symbol for hydrogen I cannot use different symbol for oxygen. It has to be used same, universally accepted. And you know, nowadays we know there is an international union of pure and applied chemistry, international union of pure and applied chemistry. So they have shown you the symbols of these in your books. If I have a periodic table of 100 elements, nowadays what we are saying, IUPAC is an international scientific organization which approves the name of the elements. I International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry approves the approves the approves the names of the elements, name, symbols, and units. So name, symbol, and units, this is all being done by the IUPAC. IUPAC. They will not be changed anywhere. They are same everywhere. What we are saying, these symbols will be same. For example, here I have given a part of that. This list is given in your NCERT book. You have seen in the NCERT book, they have given a table of symbol of some of the elements. I'm saying they have given symbol of some of the elements. And you, how do you learn these symbols? How do you learn these symbols? You see, when I say aluminium, here I'm saying aluminium. But the symbol of aluminium, AL. This is a capital letter, this is a smaller letter. First one is a capital, second is a smaller. If I say argon, you know, argon is an inert gas. Argon is an inert gas, and some very small amount are present in the air also. Argon. So how we represent argon? A and then small r. This is small, this is a capital letter, as you can see. This is aluminium. What is the name of this? Aluminium. This is, what is the name of this? BA. Tell me, what is BA? What is BA? Students, what is BA? B is capital, A is small. I'm saying what is the name of the element BA? When I will write BA, what it will be? BA is called barium. Barium. So if I write BR, you can see when I write BR, if I'm writing BR, B is capital, R is small, as you can see. What is the name of the element? What is BR? What is BR? Vidhi, what is BR? BR is a symbol of which element? BR is a symbol of which element? Who is answering? Anya, what is the BR symbol of? B is capital, R is small, but is the name of the element. You will see bromine.
Sir, bromine.
Bromine, I'm saying.
Bromine.
BR, bromine. What is Ca? Ca is a symbol of which element? Because we will be using symbols in the chemistry, chemical reactions, etc.
Calcium.
Calcium is the correct answer given by Vidhi. Calcium is the correct answer. What is the symbol of CO? O is small, C is big. We have to learn the names of these elements, symbols of these elements, because that is what we will be learning in chemistry. What do you call this? What is the name of this? CO. O is small. What do you call this? This is cobalt. If I write Cu, what is Cu? This you are using a lot in your homes. Oh, Cu. What is Cu? What is the name of the element? Element symbol. We are saying these are the elements and their symbols. Elements and symbol. We have to learn these elements and symbols, students. Elements and symbol. Cu that you have heard about. You are using copper wires. This is copper.
Copper.
Copper. Cu. So these names are now accepted by the International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. We cannot change them. We cannot change them everywhere the names will be same. So if I write I, what is I? You know what is I? Iodine. I is iodine. And if I write iron, what is the symbol of iron? What is the symbol of iron?
Fe.
F and then small e. Fe, when I will write Fe, it will mean iron. What is the symbol of silver? Silver. You use silver coins at home, students. Silver coin you are using at home. What is the symbol of silver?
Sir, AG.
Very good, very good. The first letter is always capital, the second letter is small, as you can see. So if I say sodium, what will be the symbol of sodium? Symbol of sodium. What do you know about the symbol of sodium, students?
Na.
Okay, correct,
Na.
correct answer. And when I say uranium, you know, uranium is very important element which is used in atomic energy, nuclear reactions, atomic energy. What is the symbol of uranium? It is a radioactive element.
Sir,
U.
U.
U. Okay, then we have to learn this. That's why I try to give some of the names of these students. Now you are saying everything is made up of atoms, and you have elements, and each element has its own an atom which is different from the atom of the other element. And then they said, okay, then let us see how many elements are there. Each element has an atom. Each element has an atom, and it has a mass. It has properties, and that makes this element different from others. What make one element different from other? The atom of the element. The atom of the element. If I say this is a carbon, this is a carbon. That means this carbon has got an atom which will be different from hydrogen, different from nitrogen. What do you mean by different? Atomic mass will be different, properties will be different, and then they combine. Then you are saying these atoms are not living as such, they combine to form molecules, they combine to form compounds, they do not live as such. So that is how the we are saying atoms and molecules. The whole chapter says atoms, but atoms are not existing as such, so they will combine. And when they will combine, and what type of compounds will be formed, you can see your entire body is made up of very, very complex and large number of molecules and compounds. Very, very, you don't even know what type of amino acid, proteins, fats, carbohydrates. I mean, you are saying inside the body, sodium is there, calcium is there. These elements are present and the compounds are there. You are saying hemoglobin, iron, so proteins, all these, what they are. These elements combine. Elements combine. They're not living as such. So we'll study all these things. It is a study of science or chemistry, I'm saying. So therefore, you have learned, students, you have learned how to the symbols of the elements. So symbols of the elements we should learn. That is my point. Symbols of all the elements we must know. If you have a doubt, you will check up. There is a periodic table. Have you seen periodic table, students? Have you seen periodic table? Tell me. Have you seen periodic table? Periodic table you have seen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
In that you will get a list of the symbols of all the elements. How many they are showing in the periodic table nowadays? 118. And some of these may not be existing. They are not stable. In the last you will see. Who has given these names? IUPAC. Now I cannot change the names of this. They have to be named according to this International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. So this is accepted all over the world. The symbols will be used in all the reactions which we will study. Okay, student. So we are coming now to the next part, that is atomic mass. I'm coming to atomic mass. Tell me, what is atomic mass, student? What do you mean by atomic mass? Tell me, what do you mean by atomic mass? When I say atomic mass, now the problem starts. You are saying matter is made up of atoms, but it is not one atom. There are different elements, different atoms, and they have different masses. So, what do you mean by atomic mass? Mass of an individual atom. I'm saying mass.
So
हाँ बोलो.
the mass of an atom of a particular chemical substance.
Of an element you are saying. Every element, if I say carbon is an element, you will say it has atom, and I will say what is the mass of that atom? Mass of an individual atom. That's what you are saying. Okay, correct answer by Vidhi. Mass of an individual atom is the answer given by Vidhi. That is right. We want to know different atoms have different masses. So we want to know what is the mass of hydrogen, what is the mass of carbon, what is the mass of nitrogen, what is the mass of oxygen. Some will be heavier than the other. Now, which is heavier, which is lighter? How do I know? Atom is very small. Atom is very small. I can't see it. And the mass of the atom is very, very small. I cannot weigh one atom. Then what is the problem? So how will I say? So what they were doing actually. What is important is that problem came when we wanted to find the mass of an atom, which is called the atomic mass. So the mass of an atom is very, very small. But I'm saying the mass of an atom is very, very small. But you are saying very important point that you are saying, okay, let me go back to that slide. Can I rub this? You have noted down?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. You are saying, sir, mass of an atom is very small, then how will we measure it? I mean, I am not used to this such a small mass. So how will I measure the mass of an atom is very, very small. Therefore, we have to find some way of finding the mass, or at least if we cannot find the mass of one atom, we can compare which is heavier, which is lighter, how much. This is what we can say, that we can find the relative masses, if not absolute masses. You are saying that oxygen is heavier than hydrogen, nitrogen is heavier than hydrogen. Then you are saying different elements, we can compare which is heavier, which is lighter, how much times one is heavier than the other. So for this, we can use the relative atomic masses, because you are saying atom is very small, the mass of atom is very, very small, and it was difficult to find the mass of an individual atom. Therefore, they defined a relative scale. Relative scale was defined. So let us see what is the problem. The problem is the atomic mass. But I am saying, what problem is there? The problem of the atomic mass is there. The problem of atomic mass. So the problem which is coming is, you are saying to me, what you are saying to me, that you are saying the mass of atom is very, very small. You are saying कि mass of atom is very, very small. Then how will we measure that mass of an individual atom? Therefore, but what they were doing, they said कि we can talk of relative atomic masses. What we can do? We can determine the relative atomic masses. Relative atomic masses means, supposing I have hydrogen, okay, you have carbon, you have oxygen, you have nitrogen, you have fluorine, you have bromine. How many? 118. You are saying 118 elements are there in the periodic table. I am saying how much heavier is carbon than hydrogen? How much heavier is oxygen than hydrogen? Or we are comparing the masses. What we are doing? Comparing the masses. So what will we do then? I do not have anything to measure the height, supposing, but in a class there are students of different heights. So I choose that, okay, this is the standard. I say this student is my standard, and then I start relative heights, that this student is having height less than this by this. Another student is having less than this. How much? Relative to the standard value. Or I can say this, he has a height greater than this. So here we are saying we will choose some standard, but we will choose some standard. And then we will compare the atomic masses of other elements. So we have to choose a standard reference. What we need students is to choose a standard reference. ठीक है? For measuring or I would say comparing atomic masses. Both you agree that different atoms have different mass? Yes or no? Tell me. Different atoms have different mass. So we want to compare which is heavier, how much time it is heavier than the other. And by this way, we can find the relative atomic masses. So there is a need. How they were determining, how they were determining this. Okay, hydrogen is the lightest. Carbon, you are saying, is 6 times heavier than hydrogen. Oxygen, you are saying that this oxygen is 16 times, and nitrogen is 14 times of the masses. How will we know? How will you compare the masses? They were comparing these masses, students, by means of chemical combinations. Why we studied laws of chemical combination? They were studying the laws of chemical combinations. Means there are laws of chemical combinations. So they were studying laws of chemical combination. They were measuring the masses of the products which are formed. They were combining elements, compounds were formed, and they measured the masses of the compounds. On that basis, they were trying to find a relative atomic masses of the different elements at that time. Today, we have machines to do that. So they have decided that they will choose some reference, some standard reference. So what, can you tell me which standard reference is used? What standard reference is used, students? 1961, which was universally accepted by IUPAC. Which element has been used as a standard for finding the relative atomic masses? Can you tell me which element is that? Carbon 12 isotope has been accepted, has been chosen as a standard for measuring the atomic masses. Very important point I'm telling you here. Questions are going to be there in the paper. What do you mean by carbon 12? Okay, can you tell me what do you mean by carbon 12? What do you mean by carbon 12? Tell me. Can you tell me why did I write carbon 12? Why I did not write only carbon? Why? What is the reason I am saying carbon 12? I am not saying carbon has been used as a standard for measuring atomic mass. I am saying carbon 12 has been used. Tell me why carbon 12? Do you know the reason? Who is telling me the reason? We have to think. We have to think. Everything we have to think. Tell me what is the reason? What is the reason that I use carbon 12? Why did I choose carbon 12? You know, I have written isotope. Can you tell me what are isotopes? Can you tell me? Have you heard about isotopes? Yes or no? Tell me. Do you know anything about isotopes? You know elements which have the same atomic number but different mass numbers. Carbon has got 3 isotopes. Do you know that carbon has 3 isotopes? We write C12, C13, C14. Atomic number is same. You can see atomic number is same, 666, but mass number is different. This is called the mass number, students. Mass number is different. And out of this is the most stable isotope of carbon, most stable, and is present in very abundant, and these are present in very small amounts, very small amounts. So carbon 12 is the isotope which has been used, student, as a standard, as a reference, for the comparison, for measuring the atomic masses, for measuring the atomic masses of all other elements, And what they have defined, they have defined something called 1 atomic mass unit. Very important question, 1 atomic mass unit. They will ask you this in exam. What is 1 atomic mass unit? 1 atomic mass unit, you know, if you will see the tables, what is the mass of carbon there? 1 atom of carbon, 12U. It will be written something like, if I say carbon, you will find 12U for carbon. 12U. 1 atom of carbon, they are saying 12 units. 12 units. The unit is also atomic mass unit. U means AMU, atomic mass unit. And what is then 1 unit? That what is the meaning of 1 unit, student? What is the meaning of 1 atomic mass unit? 1 atomic mass unit is the mass equal to, this is the mass equal to 1/12 of mass of 1 atom of carbon 12. This is the definition of 1 atomic mass unit. 1 atomic mass unit definition I am giving. Can note this down. This question has been asked many times in the paper. What is 1 atomic mass unit? So 1 atomic mass unit is the mass of 1/12 the mass of C12. The mass of C12. This has already been measured. They have already measured this mass by a machine. Now it is possible. And the standard or our reference is C12 isotope. This mass is known. This mass is very, very small. This mass is known to our students. So we are using nowadays atomic mass scale, in which we are saying 1 atomic mass unit is equal to 1/12 the mass of a carbon. If I say in the book hydrogen is 1U, if you are seeing carbon is 12U, if you are saying oxygen is 16U, what it means? U is a symbol of atomic mass unit. This is the mass of 1 atom of oxygen. Mass of one atom of oxygen. 1 atom of oxygen is 16U. What is U? U is 1/12 the mass of 1 atom of carbon 12. And this has been determined experimentally. So what we have determined experimentally, students? Mass of 1 atom of C12. What is the meaning of C12? C12 means that isotope of carbon which has a mass number of 12. This one. This isotope of carbon mass has been measured. And 16U means 1 unit is 1/12 the mass of carbon atom, which is very, very small number, very, very small number. Exact value is known to us. So if I will multiply with that, then I will get the mass of the oxygen in grams. In grams, it is a very small number, very, very small number. And when I write this value, you will see that in the book they have given a table of atomic masses of few elements. What we have given you, as you can see in the book, what I am saying, atomic mass. U means, what is the meaning of U? U is symbol of atomic mass unit. It is saying mass of one atom. Mass of one atom, I am saying, whenever U will be there, it will be the mass of one atom. The mass of one atom of hydrogen, I am saying, is 1. So if you are saying hydrogen is 1 U. U, what is U? U is a very small number in grams. We will tell you later on what is the value of U, one atomic mass unit. This is equal to 1/12 the mass of carbon 12 isotope. This has been determined now experimentally. Carbon, you are saying, carbon is how much? 12 U. So how much times carbon is heavier than hydrogen? You can see that. The atom of carbon is 12 times heavier than hydrogen. Oxygen, you are saying how much? 16 U. Tell me how many times oxygen is heavier than, oxygen atom is heavier than hydrogen atom. How many times? Tell me. How many times oxygen atom is heavier than hydrogen? Tell me. This is 1, this is 16. It is 16 times. If I compare carbon and oxygen, what is the meaning of this? Carbon and oxygen, if I am saying, what is the meaning of carbon and oxygen? 12 is to 16. What is that? 4, 3 is to 4. The masses are in the ratio of 3 is to 4, as you can see for CO. For CO. Carbon and oxygen. Carbon. So here in the book, you will see a table in which they are given some values. Here I am given the value of U. Whenever U will be there, students, make sure it is the mass of one atom. U is the mass of one atom, I am saying. U is the mass of one atom. If I will write grams, then I will tell you what it is. And right now I'm saying only U because I'm talking of atomic masses. Atomic masses. U is 1 unit, 1 unit. And sulfur, how much? 32. Chlorine, 35.5. Calcium is 40. Any doubt here? Tell me, do you have any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. These are the atomic masses. How, with what, which standard has been used? Tell me which standard I have used for measuring these atomic masses. What is the reference or standard which has been used? Which standard I used for this? Carbon 12 isotope. Carbon 12 isotope was used. And what is 1 unit? This question will be there in the paper. What is 1 unit? 1/12 the mass of one atom of carbon 12. 1/12 the mass of one atom of carbon 12 is 1 U. Now we have questions for you. Question 1. In a reaction, 5.3 gram of sodium carbonate reacted with 6 gram of ethanoic acid. What is the reaction? You are reacting sodium carbonate. Sodium carbonate is Na2CO3. How many grams? 5.3 gram. Is reacting with 6 gram of ethanoic acid. Okay, I'm just writing ethanoic acid. How many grams of ethanoic acid? 6 gram. And this, the products were, what is the product, students? 2.2 gram of carbon dioxide. You are getting carbon dioxide, how much? 2.2 gram. 0.9 gram of water. 0.9 gram. And 8.2 gram plus 8.2 gram. What is the name of the compound? Sodium ethanoate. Sodium ethanoate. Now you have to show that this is in agreement with the law of conservation of mass. Show what law you want to prove. Law of conservation of mass. Okay, you have 1 minute to answer the question, students. 1 minute to answer the question. What is the law of conservation of mass? What is the law of conservation of the mass? The mass is conserved. Sum of the masses of reactant should be equal to sum of the masses of products. Are they equal? Bolo, the two sides are getting equal mass. If I add 5.3 plus 6,
Yes, sir.
equal. How much? 11.3 gram. What is this? 2.2 plus 0.9 plus 8.2. How much is that? What is value you are getting? 11 point.
Sir, 11.3 gram.
So what it means that they are in agreement with law of conservation of mass. This is 13.3, 11.3. This is 11.3. This is also 11.3. Okay. So this is in agreement with the law of conservation. Further, he is saying, question 2, hydrogen and oxygen combine in the ratio of hydrogen and oxygen. They combine in the ratio of 1:8 by mass. 1:8 by mass. Students, what mass of oxygen will be required to react with 3 gram of hydrogen? Tell me, if you have 3 gram of hydrogen, what mass of oxygen will be required? What mass will be required? What is your answer coming? What is the answer? 1:8 ratio by mass.
Sir, 24 gram.
Okay, 1:3, 1:8 is the ratio. Then 3, if this is 3, then this is 24. This is 24. Okay. Which postulate of Dalton atomic theory is a result of law of conservation of mass? Which postulate of Dalton is the law of conservation of mass? How many postulates you know about Dalton? Which postulate of Dalton atomic theory is a result of law of conservation of mass? Which postulate of Dalton?
Sir, atoms can neither be created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction.
That is the correct answer. Correct answer. So atomic theory Conservation of mass is because atoms cannot be created or destroyed. Therefore, the mass of the atom on left hand side must be equal to mass of the atoms on the right side. Is the correct answer. Question number 3 is okay. Question 4. Which postulate of Dalton is atomic theory can explain the law of definite proportion? Question number 4 before you students on the screen.
So the relative number and kind of atoms in a given compound remains constant.
Yes, that was given by Dalton. See, Dalton, as I said, Dalton gave his atomic theory after he has studied and observed the laws of chemical combination. So whatever laws of chemical combination were experiments which were done. After experiments, they got this information, and then he studied them and gave his Dalton's atomic theory. The next question before the screen, define the atomic mass unit, is a very important question in the exam. They have asked many times. What is atomic mass unit? What is atomic mass unit? We have given a definition of atomic mass units, students. What is that? This is an important question, will be asked again in the exams. They will ask you again in the exam, what is atomic mass unit? So you should be able to answer it. You should be able to answer it, student. What is atomic mass unit? What answer you are giving?
Or a unit of mass used to express atomic and molecular weights.
What is the definition I gave you? What define atomic mass unit? What definition I have given you? What is atomic mass unit? One atomic mass unit is equal to what I said.
1/12 of the mass of an atom of carbon.
Carbon or carbon 12.
Carbon 12.
You have to write this definition. 1 unit equal to 1/12 the mass of one atom of carbon 12. Carbon 12 means that isotope of carbon whose mass number is 12. Important, very important. You have to answer. Why we cannot, it's not possible to see an atom with a naked eye? You already know about it. Tell me. What is the size of the atom? Very, very small. So how will we see that with eyes? You know. Now we know that atoms, how do atoms exist, student? Atoms don't exist as individual. There is nothing like H or O. But what is there? H2 gas, O2 gas, nitrogen gas. There are few which are living. There are few inert gas elements are there. But then you are saying that H2O exists, carbon dioxide gas exists. So what is happening? How the atoms are existing? Atoms combine. What is the atoms combine? Why will the atom combine? Because they are not stable. When they are not stable, they will combine. So atoms, most of the cases you will see atoms are existing when they are combining. When they are combining, they are not existing. They are not existing as H. H doesn't exist, but H2 exists. O doesn't exist as O. Atom, oxygen atom is not there, but O2 is there. In the air, what you have? O2, not O. Got it? What the air has? O2? Not O. This doesn't exist. Because it is not stable. It will react to form O2. Question number 2. What is molecule? What is molecule? Tell me. What is a molecule? What is a molecule, students? You are saying oxygen is a molecule. Nitrogen N2 is a molecule. Is it a molecule or not? Is it a molecule? Ozone, this is my ozone. These are molecules. These are molecules. Then you are saying H2O is molecules of H2O. These are molecules of H2O. So what is the definition then? Here, how many atoms are there? 2, 3 atoms. 2 plus 1, 3 atoms. That means a molecule is nothing but a group of two or more atoms. So molecule is nothing but a group of two or more atoms. More atoms. And they are chemically bonded. Chemically bonded. What is bonding? We will tell you that there is an attractive force between them. And they are held by, atoms are held by attractive forces. There are attractive forces which hold these atom students. Attractive forces are there. So molecule is a smallest particle of an element which is capable of independent existence. O2 exists. It exists. Not O. Not O. The O is an atom. It is not existing, but O2 is existing. So it is the smallest particle of an element. Oxygen is an element, but is not existing as O. It is existing as O2. Therefore, it is the smallest particle of an element. It is the smallest particle of an atom. Smallest particle of an element. Okay, element. Oxygen is an element. Element which is capable of independent existence. Capable of independent existence. Independent existence. And we'll show the properties of the substance. You know what are the properties of oxygen gas, what is the property of nitrogen gas, you know what is the property of water molecules. Water, when I write water molecule. So atoms of same element or of different can join together to form molecules. I can say that atoms of same element or different elements can combine to form molecules. Can combine to form molecules. Can combine to form the molecules. So there can be same element or there can be different molecules. There can be same elements or there can be different elements which can form the molecules. Or the molecules can be of the same, if the molecules are formed by the same atoms. There are examples when the atoms are same, where the atoms are same. Here you see same atom. Same atom. This is also same atom. This is also same atom. But here atoms are different. Atoms are different. Atoms are different. As you can see, the atoms are different. So these are the compounds of these are compounds. You can see in compounds you have got the different elements. And further you can see atomicity of some of the elements. What is atomicity? What is atomicity, students? If I write O2, how many atoms are there in oxygen? How many oxygen atoms in O2? Tell me. In oxygen, how many atoms are there?
Sir, 2.
2. Atomicity, it is called diatomic. Diatomic. If I write O3, how many atoms of oxygen?
3.
3. This will be called triatomic. If I write Ar is inert gas, only one atom. This is called monoatomic. If I write P4, how many are there?
4.
So phosphorus, white phosphorus, it exists as P4. P4 means there are 4 atoms. Atomicity is 4. Tetraatomic. It is called tetra, means 4. Tetraatomic. And sulfur, you know sulfur, S8. In one sulfur there are 8 atoms. 8 atoms. So it is called polyatomic. Poly means many atoms are there. So these are called the atomicity of the elements. And here I have given examples of the molecules of the compounds. The molecule of water is a compound. What is the formula? H2O. H2O. How many elements? Two elements of hydrogen and one element of oxygen. So water is a compound, H2O. Ammonia, NH3. Carbon dioxide, you know, CO2. So here you have carbon, one element and two elements of the oxygen. These are molecules. Molecules are forming the compounds. The elements are different here. The elements are different here, students. All right, then we will, I hope you understood all this. We will continue more about this and keep on solving questions which are important for your exam, students. I thank you for giving me intelligent answers, and keep on answering and interacting with me and asking questions whichever you feel and have doubts. How was the session? Tell me. How is it? Good, great.
Yes, sir.
So you are doing great. You are doing great, great students. You have power, you have enthusiasm, you have inspiration. Always say great, so that we continue to do more questions which are important for exams. All right. So thumbs up. Say yes. Good. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, then bye bye. Meet you in our next.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you for answering the questions. Bye bye.